Very good morning, everybody. Now, I said something about this the other day, and it looks as though war is going to be declared. Apparently, the big six are bracing themselves to go to war in the Premier League. And apparently, what's going to also possibly happen is instead of 20 clubs, it's going to go down to 18. And it gets worse. There's also talk of, pardon me, a wage cap. Pardon me. So all this is happening, and Monday of next week, Manchester City are going to the Court of Arbitration as they're fed up and they want to basically take the Premier League to court over commercial deals, etc. And as if they haven't got enough money, they want more. And it looks like, as I've just said on a post, this could mean the breakup of the Premier League, because I don't know if you watch TNT Sport, which used to be BT, but there's talk in Italy and there's talk in Spain about the European Super League, and it's whispers that it's true, but it's still there. It won't go away. And if you remember, several years ago, it took the Prime Minister to come out, and there was a mass revolt of fans up and down the country who also didn't like it as well. And at the time, if you remember, the big six got a little slap on the hand of a £3 million fine, and they also got a clear indication that if there was any more shenanigans, that they may be booted from the Premier League. And we have the best football league on planet Earth, and it's worrying. It really is worrying. Now, the people which I mentioned the other day, they're basically saying it might benefit Newcastle, but I don't know how, because since we had our takeover, Amanda, Mia Dad, Jamie and Darren Eales have been trying their best to stay within the guidelines, and yet it seems that the big six, well, they're just a law unto themselves. But we now know for certain we've got next Monday Court of Arbitration. That's going to be 2 weeks, and then late in November, that's when the Premier League are going to have Manchester City in court. However, that date may change. Things may change within the next week and a bit. 2 weeks and a bit. And it could cause a breakaway. It is possible because, like I say, those in the Big Six want to be able to have more of the pot. And for the other teams, there are 14 teams, well, some of those clubs have much lower attendances, and as we all know, some teams have been relegated, and when you get relegated, it's much harder to do like what Newcastle did when we got relegated, to bounce straight back and come straight back up. So it's going to put immense stress and strain, and there's a lot of things going on in football at this moment in time, and it does not look good. And it may be that those in London at Premier League HQ are running around like headless chickens. Who knows? We certainly won't know. But I think this news is bad because we haven't even got the Euros started yet, and there's talk of the Premier League being sued, and that's bloody unprecedented. It's never been done. See, I've always thought with the Premier League, every so often they renegotiate the pot, the prize money, etc. The TV rights get auctioned off, and I've always believed that it would climb higher and higher each time. Then COVID struck, which nobody was expecting, and you had the football being played with empty stadiums because of the restrictions. And yeah, that did hurt clubs. It did. But I think moving forward, between now and 2030, I would expect that the TV money will jump considerably, and the one thing that concerns me is the player wages cap, because how can you invite top talent in if I mean, the way we have been with Newcastle United, we've had to balance the books, and Eddie has gone out and done the best he could under those constraints, like getting Alexander Isak at his price. Tonali, yeah, we all know Tonali couldn't play because of being a silly lad, but got him at a knockdown price. But moving forward, it could be that we can't get players like that anymore. They will go to European rivals because they're not getting the big bucks anymore. So it's one heck of a mess, and it begins next Monday. and it's going to be 2 weeks before any decision is made, because I think the arbitration has a 3-man panel, so we'll just have to see what happens. But the way it's looking at the minute, it ain't good. And if it is the case where they are allowed to sue the Premier League, can you imagine the damages that's going to cause? And those at the Big Six sitting there rubbing their hands together. It ain't good. And our football season don't kick off until, I think it's the 17th of August, or it may be a little bit earlier than that, but I think it's the 17th. So it doesn't look good. And we'll see what happens with this explosion, because that's what it is. To actually turn around and take the Premier League to a court of arbitration, it's a serious amount of a pain in the butt. Now, moving forward, there was I was watching one of the YouTube channels, and there's a couple of players mentioned, but they're going to cost money. Hopefully Newcastle have that money to get them. Doumbale, Soul were mentioned, as well as a French lad. He does play in the Premier League, but like I say, these were people who I was looking at yesterday on Alice's channel, and they're possible, well, one of them's a possible replacement if Callum Wilson does decide he wants to go elsewhere. But what I try and do is I watch a lot of football, I watch a lot of YouTube, different channels where they're talking about players. And I know some of you turn around and say about doing your research. Well, I wish I'd have wrote the names down from what Alice was on about yesterday, because the team that she put out at the end, that was a pretty good team. And we shall see what happens. So, to all of you out there, thanks very much for watching. I know it's I said something similar to this the other day, but I've just came across another story saying about the Premier League being sued. So thanks for watching, and much more content coming up. Oh, by the way, hitting that is free. Subscribing is also free. And guess what? Spread the word. That's also free. Thank you.